be taking a look at what is really a weekend ritual of teenagers in downtown Hopkins. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, but let's take a little preview look at it. It's cruising, downtown Hopkins. Sharon and I went to a movie that we were reviewing several weeks ago on a Friday night. And we found that there were cars crawling through the streets of Hopkins, some pretty interesting ones, like that one, which is called the Blue Beast. And we caught up with the owner of the Blue Beast and some of these other cars to find out what it is that's so attractive about downtown Hopkins on a Friday night. It's something that's been for a while, and we had a chance to speak with both the kids and the police who are in charge of making sure that the situation doesn't get out of hand. We're going to have a chance to take a look at that whole ritual in just a few seconds.
Did you do that when you were in high school?
No, we never did. There was a contingent that cruised around the high school during the day, and I think the idea was smoking and just generally being, you know, out of order. How about you?
Oh, yeah, we did. I didn't realize it still went on, but see, I was from a really small town, too, and in small towns, there's not a whole lot to do. So cruising was one of those things, but I had no idea it was still going on. Also, we're going to talk about cruising in downtown Hopkins. It's an interesting ritual that Sharon and I ran into, as I said, a few weeks ago, and we weren't really too familiar with the history of the whole thing, so we went back with a crew. Ethan Hart, our cinematographer, was there, Vicki Audette, our associate producer, and Jeff Byers, and the whole crew went out there to talk to the people and see what was going on, so let's take a look at it now. The kids in Hopkins actually began this ritual, we understand, about 3 years ago, and it started out as a very local phenomenon, but since then its popularity has really grown. Teens come from all over the state to Hopkins to show off their cars. Nearby residents sometimes complain that the parade of cars is too noisy, and the police call the kids mall crawlers. We asked the kids why they do it.
I think it's just out of boredom. For some people, I do. Just to meet other people when they're really bored, just go out and meet other people. Because everyone says hi to everyone, you know, that's just the way it is.
Excelsior Boulevard is the main strip. Now, cruisers start at Burger King, they drive down the boulevard, then they turn around at the 7-Eleven. The parade moves at a very slow pace, as you can see. This gives them a chance to show off their cars and get to know the other cruisers.
How do you go about meeting somebody if you're cruising around in a car?
Usually they tell you to pull over. If you see somebody you like or somebody who's interesting looking, they'll tell you to pull over. Somebody with a nice car will come over and want to see what you got in your car. Something like that, yeah.
Seeing the nice cars, and them looking in here and we're sitting here, you know, kind of, hey, we're sitting in a nice car here, look at us. It's a show-off, it's an ego thing.
What's the best line you ever heard coming from a guy?
Hi. That's about it. How you doing? The basics, you know.
Weekend cruising may be fun for the kids, but for the Hopkins police, it's really plenty of work. Lieutenant Don Bentley is one of the men responsible for keeping the peace.
Basically, and for the most part, they're good people. They're just out to have a good time. Yeah. But when you get 1,000 people in noisy automobiles driving on a short street, it gets kind of rowdy and noisy and disorderly.
What is the best way to deal with these kids? I mean, you deal with them all the time, face to face, when they're drunk and disorderly. What do you do?
We deal with them politely and firmly. The law is the law.
You throw them in the can?
No. We cite them for, you know, open bottle and speeding and the ordinary violations.
What does that mean? Does that mean they get a ticket and they go on their way?
They get a ticket and they go on their way.
Cars are the status symbols for these kids, and to the teens who cruise in Hopkins, their autos are a statement of who they are.
I like my car, and I like to show it off. Like I'm sure there are guys that have much nicer cars, like, you know, in my opinion, like faster, bigger, more muscular, whatever. But I mean, in my opinion, this is a very sharp car, and I got a few bucks tied in it, and I like it. It's a sharp car. And
just a machine. Metal lake blue with a Corvette blue. Check my custom machine, and they say it looks better when she's standing still. Check my custom machine. On the gas she goes.
All right, what's going to be the future of this whole thing?
We hope it stops. Yeah. You know, I don't know what their attraction is. It certainly is a waste of gasoline and a waste of energy, in my opinion. They drive up and down the street, and they make comments to each other, and it serves no useful purpose.
Somebody said it's a mating game.
That could be, but I don't know who they're mating with. There aren't that many girls.